Louisiana versus all y'all. Jarrett Roser here today with Denham Springs quarterback Reese Mooney, one of the top prospects in Louisiana's 2023 class. A guy that we've heard so much about as both a baseball and football recruit throughout his high school career, and now getting ready for his senior season with a big senior group out there with the Yellow Jackets. And it's been a high school career that's had some twists and turns and ups and downs with some of the recruiting aspects, as well as an injury last season that he's worked his way back from, and now getting ready for that last high school ride. Reese, what's going on, man?
Nothing much. Just kind of chilling out right now. Just happy. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. We talked about this for a while, and so I'm glad we got a chance this afternoon to chop it up a little bit and talk through some of your journey. Um, I met you 3 years ago during your freshman year when you were still a Houston baseball commit, but some of the football things were starting to fall into place. And so when you look at how much has happened since then for you and just what all those experiences have been like, we'll get into some of each aspect of it. But I mean, how wild of a ride has the last 3 years been, and what's it like to know that you've started off your senior year now uh, out in Denham Springs?
It's been crazy. My freshman year we went 1-9, and my sophomore year I got to play a little bit, but we went 1-7 after that. That was Coach Beard's first year, and we lost a teammate and a coach. So I mean, it was bad for us. Our team matured a lot. I matured a lot, and it's kind of a wake up call for me. Life's tough, so you got to face adversity. In all aspects of your life, and I definitely did that, and just being able to balance that with everything, baseball and football. It's kind of helped me grow up as a man, and it's kind of helped our team too.
Were there times during some of this where just it almost feels like one thing after another? You mentioned losing a teammate and the difficulties of dealing with something like that as a high school student, and having someone that you're used to being with day in, day out, really almost all year round. And then we mentioned you dealing with some of your injury stuff, probably some growing pains with the new coaching staff coming over there, and everybody trying to adjust to each other. That's certainly not on the same scale as the other things. But were there some days where it's tough and you just have to kind of take a step back and remind yourself, these are just things that y'all have to be there together for and work through? What is that like as a young guy to deal with these sort of things one after another?
It was tough for me. I knew it was tough for the team, but deep down, I kind of had to, stay positive, have a positive attitude, and just tell my guys, like all this is going to be worse some one day. It's not going to be done for nothing. God had a reason for all this. I feel like it brought our team together. Our brotherhood is tighter than I think anybody in the state team, I should say. But I feel like it's kind of changed our attitude and stuff. We got that little swag about us now. Now that we're confident. It's our senior year last year. But yes, sir. I mean, I've taken a couple steps back. Just kind of think about things, and how it's been. It don't get any tougher than this. So
Football wise, take me through some of the development there, from being the young guy that is a heralded baseball prospect to first getting some of that college football attention, and just needing to continue to develop your game over these last few years. And now folks know you're committed to Liberty, to go play some college football after this year. But what is as you try to keep a handle on all of the adversity off the field, what was some of that work like for you on the field to keep moving forward and growing, not just as a person, but also as a player between?
oh yeah, definitely. My freshman year, I was just, like playing the position at quarterback. You got to know everything. You got to know the coverages and just different concepts that you run within your offense. And I did not know any of that. Honestly, I was just seeing white. I was just seeing lines and stuff like that on the board. I didn't really get in depth of all that stuff. I didn't really have a relationship with my coach my freshman year. But when Coach Beard came in and he brought his staff over, I kind of went over stuff with them, and just didn't really quite get it. But then towards my sophomore year, I kind of got in the film room a whole lot more. And, I just started to learn about coverages and, different fronts and everything, like cover two, all the different coverages and everything. And, just the concepts itself. And now I just know the concepts like the back of my hand. And, I've really matured as a man in that aspect of my game, mentally. I've kind of worked on that a lot, and physically too. Footwork and everything that helps too. But the mental part of the game is what will take me a long way.
What is that teaching dynamic like with coaches like Coach Beard or Coach Fournier? Because they care quite a bit about their student athletes and making sure that they get y'all to be the best version of yourselves as possible, but they're not going to sugarcoat a whole lot when yeah when it's not where it needs to be. Just how has that developed through the years, and how helpful has that relationship been to get you from where you are as a sophomore to where you are as a senior?
It's been really helpful. Honestly, Coach Beard kind of gets on me a little bit. Just kind of bust my bubble a little bit, but he does it. He does it just to make me mentally tough. And Coach Fournier, he's kind of like the mom. He kind of picks me up and everything. But Beard gives me a hard time. But I really appreciate it though, because he's kind of made me the player I am today, mentally wise. And Coach Fournier, he's kind of helped me with the offensive stuff. And I feel like I'm a whole lot more confident, I should say, in my game this year than I have been in the past years, because I was more of a thinker than a processor, but now I'm starting to process information and everything like that. So I feel like my game's gone a long way since freshman year.
As you grow from the lessons you learned as a sophomore and are getting into last junior season, expecting to take that big step and then get sidelined early on with the ankle, how tough of a process was that? What did you go through emotionally with some of that? And then we talked some late last season about what you were able to learn from being forced to take a step to the sideline and watch it from that perspective and grow through a way that you certainly would have liked for it to not have had to go that way, but you were able to take some positives from that experience.
Oh yeah, it really sucked. I'm gonna start with the negative. The negatives kind of, we were on a roll. We had a loss against Cecilia. It was a freaking shootout, and Franklinton, we started off good. We scored our first drive. And then the next drive, I went down. As long as another player, Andrew Goodwin, he's our tight end. He's going to be a really good player this year for us. And it kind of sucked for me. Just knowing I couldn't play for the rest of the year, it kind of broke me down first night. But after that, I kind of stayed positive. Just prayed about it and stuff. Rehabbed, and most of all, it kind of made me a better teammate for my team. I wasn't really that. I was more. I'm gonna be honest. I was more of a. I was worried about the recruiting stuff. I kind of got caught up in that. But now it's kind of brought me closer to my teammates and stuff like that. Now that I'm committed, and I just want to play ball now.
During tough times, who were some of the people that you were able to lean on that were really there for you, your support system, that when you might have had a day where you were a little bit more down, they were there to help pick you up and keep you moving forward, keep chin up and all those things?
My dad was a big asset for me. He kind of helped me out a little bit. He's been with me through this entire journey, the ups and downs, and very grateful for that. But also my teammates, they stepped in and kind of just knew I was their quarterback, so they just kind of picked me up and everything. And my Coach Beard too. So those are all the people that have kind of helped me.
Let's talk through some of the college stuff too, because as we get on the heels of junior year, that's when you have the commitment to Vanderbilt, and then a few months later take a step back, and now as you go into senior year, committed to Liberty. What is the recruiting process been like for you? How much did you learn and grow through that piece of it? You mentioned with some of what you went through last year, it kind of changed your perspective and shifted your priorities some. Just how much of a ride was the recruiting side of it, and how good does it feel now to be committed to a place like Liberty, where you're clearly very passionate about the opportunity there?
Yeah, it was kind of overwhelming. It kind of started my freshman year, but it didn't really get to that point to where coaches can kind of reach out to me. because like every all these trips and everything, and it's been a tough ride though. It really has, but it's also been really fun and overwhelming at the same time. Sometimes it got aggravating. Sometimes I was just ready to kind of, just kind of ready for it to be over, and yeah. But the Vanderbilt situation, it was pretty tough to kind of say no to them, and just in the end, Liberty's a spot for me, and that's where I'll be playing for the next 3 to 4 years.
You went up there and had a great visit a couple months ago, and I think I could kind of tell at that point that you were probably going to make that move. What stood out about the opportunity to see what they have going on up there, some of those relationships with the coaches, just what set them apart as you were reevaluating and making your final choice that was the place for you definitively?
Just the facilities were a bonus to what the coaches were like. You see what you get up there, and I got to see Coach Freeze and like his philosophy on the offense and stuff like that, and I just love the way they run their stuff. They really good in the RPO game, stuff like that. They like to air it out a little bit, and I talked to Coach Austin. He's the OC there. I talk to him almost daily if he has the chance, but I really have a great relationship with them, and they kind of stuck it out with me through the Vanderbilt commitment. And I really respected that. So, that the love that they had for me, I had for them. So, I just thought it'd be the best spot for me. It was tough though to kind of choose between them and I had another school, UAB. It's kind of hard to say no to them too. But it was like breaking up with a girlfriend or something. It was pretty tough, but Liberty was a spot for me. So
Yeah. And now here we are. Senior season has begun. Y'all are a few weeks into classes. You just had the scrimmage where I saw you guys over at Woodlawn a couple days ago. And I mentioned when we were starting out, you are now an experienced senior, and there are a whole lot of y'all that y'all have been playing together for a long time. How big are the expectations for this program now? A few years in with that new coaching staff, and so many of y'all that have been together throughout all that.
The expectations are really high. I mean, like skyrocketing high, because this team has been together forever, and we've been the talk of the town for a couple of years now, and it's just our time to shine. We've put all this hard work in, but if we don't perform with the hard work, then the hard work means nothing. And so we say no to that, and we're going to go after it every single day, every single practice, every single game, and just keep progressing, to get that ring on our finger.
Kind of toward the end of a lot of interviews with you guys, I like to ask what's something about you that that you hope people know about you that maybe hasn't gotten out there yet. But for you, I wanted to say something, I guess, just through these years of knowing you, and we mentioned the ups and downs, the adversity you've gone through. I think it's important that people realize just the positivity that you've had. Anytime we've had a chance to talk, you've always been extremely positive. You've always been, not just ready for what's ahead for you, but you more than maybe anyone else I know, you're such a huge champion of and cheerleader for all of your teammates. And one of the first people to let me know, you need to keep eyes on Hayden Rushing. He's a fantastic member of the senior class. Or you were talking about Andrew Goodwin earlier. You've talked up a guy that he's a few years younger than you, but is trying to push you at that quarterback spot in Jerry Horn. And so regardless of who it is, you've made sure to kind of sing their praises along the way, and talk about the opportunity that this group has as a whole. And so that's something that's very behind the scenes and doesn't come out with the highlights and whatnot. And I think people should know that about you. I don't know if you want to speak to that, just the importance of that teammate role for you, because it's something you've clearly prioritized.
Oh yeah, it's extremely important to me because I want to show everybody that I got their back in anything, and I want them to have mine because that's really important to me to be a good teammate and a good person because football is not going to last forever. So I feel like if I'm a good person, I'll be very successful in my life. So.
One of those guys I mentioned in a Hayden Rushing, to see him go from a guy that was your teammate and y'all knew very well to now he's got some college things going, and we're watching him wreak havoc in that scrimmage where he's chasing Ricky Collins around the entirety of that event. How how much joy do you take in seeing some of the opportunities fall into place for some of those guys?
All that recruitment, he deserves it more than anybody. I feel like because that kid works so hard in the weight room and everything. And, most mostly all of our guys are deserving to get scholarships. I wish all I don't know 98 of us or 106 of us could get offers, but that's not realistic. It's really hard to play at the college level, and Coach Beard says that all the time to us. So you just got to be different. You got to have the it factor, and you got to have it mentally, to kind of go to the next level. And I feel like most of our starters got it. So
I mentioned you talking up the young guy, Jerry, the young underclassman quarterback too, as a guy that's been through what you've been through, learned the lessons along the way. What type of things do you tell him as the guy who's kind of the heir apparent behind you to take the reins at some point as a young quarterback that's, a few years behind you? What can you give him in terms of some guidance?
Oh yeah. We've butted heads a couple times, and we just kind of get in arguments every once in a while. But that's what brothers do. We're a brotherhood more than teammates. But I just tell him don't let the game get too fast for you. Slow the game down. Just don't be pressured at all. And I feel like he's done a really good job of that. I'm really proud of him to be his teammate and to be his upperclassman quarterback. I feel like I've learned lessons from him that he's learned from me too. We learn from anybody, and that's a big part of this journey too. Just kind of learning from my teammates and learning from their mistakes and mine too. So it's been a really cool ride for us, me and Jerry too. I haven't known him too long, but I know him long enough that he's got my back through everything, and he's always willing to compete and learn. So it's pretty good to have him.
There you go, man. Well, yeah, like I mentioned, senior year's here, football season is here. We mentioned expectations are high. What should folks expect to see from these 2022 Yellow Jackets in terms of just an energy, a brand of football, any of those things on Friday nights for the next few months?
Oh yeah, we're going to bring the fire and from years to come too. Just the injury last year and all the adversity that we faced in the past. It's just all come together now to, have success. So
There you go. Again, he's senior quarterback Reese Mooney at Denham Springs, a member of that big 2023 graduating class for the Yellow Jackets, who have been through so much, have been galvanized together, and now are ready to put it all together. One final year for the seniors out on the field this fall on Friday nights, and for Louisiana versus all y'all, Jarrett Roser.
yes, sir.